to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm going to fast forward. I'm actually going to rewind to 2017 um, in June. So, June, I'm not pretty sure the date, but I know in June 2017, maybe like the 21st, 22nd, I came back to Chicago with only $22 in my pocket, and that was to get to Chicago. So probably maybe only like 50 cents in my pocket to come to Chicago, where I lived all my life. But I was in Rockford from June 2016 to till June 2017, and when I arrived to Chicago, I was texting a mentor of mine. She was playing volleyball. I was going to come visit her, but I know, I knew that I didn't have nowhere to go. So when I came back, I was kind of not stuck. I had like a little change on me. I don't know, like pocket change, but I didn't have anything in my bank account. And I put the rest of my pocket change. I arrived at Union Station, and I put the rest of my pocket change to go to a neighborhood that I knew and that I feel like I trust. Um, so I took the train, loaded my bus card up, took the train to a neighborhood that I knew, stayed there and just like walked. And I downloaded this dating app called Grinder. I had no intentions to hook up with anybody. I had no intentions to do anything sexually for money. I had no intentions for any of that. I think the reason why I downloaded Grinder was to conversate with people who, so I can get my mind out of what was going on at the time. Like I said, I came back, didn't have nowhere to go. So I stayed at this park till like a long time. And this guy texted, like tested tested me, and he he was like, he seemed cool. He wanted me, no, actually, I think he wanted something sexual to happen. But I told him like, hey, I'm not on that. This and this and that. I just came back to Chicago. Um, and I was just looking for a place to like maybe chill for a few hours, take a shower and everything. And he was so skeptical about me. He didn't want me to come because he was so afraid that I would take his things, his belongings. And I didn't know why that he thought. And I literally told him like, hey, I'm not like that. I'm not that type of person. Like, I can give you every contact in my phone and text them, ask them like, do I get down like that? Like, I'm not that type of person. And he like, no, this and this and that. And so he like, I don't know. Like, we went back and forth for maybe like an hour. And I know it was dangerous. It was very dangerous. But at the time, I needed somewhere to go and shower. So, and during this time, restaurants was closed, stores was closed. So that was out of the option. Like, I couldn't use those stores to do that. And so he finally let me come over. He said, how about that you come chill for a bit, and if I get a good vibe, I'll let you stay. And so I went over to the house. It was crazy because it was down the street from one of my mentors' house. But I didn't let them know that. Um, so I went there, we talked, and he asked me, he said, what is your story? And I kind of told him like a summary of what I was going through. and he understood. He, I don't know, he understood, and he said I could take a shower. I took a shower, and I guess he let me stay. Well, it's not I guess, I know, but yes, he let me stay. He liked my personality. He didn't see me as a threat. Um, I felt very safe. Yes, I had shit going through the back of my head, running like, what if he kidnapped me? What if he come in, like walk in on me while I'm in the shower and like cut my throat, like, or anything could happen. But when I got to his house, I see the reason why he didn't want his things to be gone. Like he did celebrity hair, and he worked very hard for his things and stuff, and so I can see why. But I'm not that type of person, and I spent the night. He let me spend the night. Nothing sexually happened. He told me like, you know, you in need, so I'm gonna help you. Like, you know, you took a shower, you could spend the night, and I felt very, 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 very safe with him. I don't know why. This was my first time meeting him, but I felt very safe with him. We slept in the same bed, but obviously on two different sides. Um, I don't remember anything from the night. I just know that I knocked out. I was very tired. He put on Criminal Minds. I don't even think I even watched one episode, and I went to sleep. Um, he woke me up, and he got in the shower. I was still asleep. I woke up, and I started getting ready, and he asked me, "Do I have anywhere to go?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." You know, and me in my head was like, "No, but I can go back to the same neighborhood I was in." Cause it was kind of like the same area, but like kind of more farther down. Um, so I'm like, "Yeah, of course." I already had a job lined up, but the job didn't start yet. So I think I went to the Starbucks in the neighborhood and just sat there. And that's the reason why I love Starbucks now. Spending time in there, like, you know, brushing my teeth, washing up, shaving my face, um, just on my phone using the Wi-Fi because my phone was on. We stayed in contact, and I he was a very busy man, so I couldn't get in touch with him like that. Only when he texted me. Sometimes, um, it was kind of hard. I think I started falling for him because how helpful he was to me, and we started having more conversation like about story, and he wanted to do my hair. He wanted to um take photos of me, like, you know, get me dressed up because he wanted to see me in my element. He wanted to see, okay, because he never he he never was the type of, I don't know how to say this, but I don't think he ever was involved with a trans woman. So that was kind of new for him because as time went past, we did end up we did, I won't say a relationship. I think it was just like a friends with benefits kind of thing. From time to time, like every other blue moon. Um, but we had feelings for each other. I just think that we was both busy because I did have a job lined up. So, but back to me going back to the neighborhood, I was walking with a big ass book bag because, like I said, I came back from Chicago with a book bag. Dropped off my other belongings at my mentor house and stuff, I left a lot of my clothes back in Rockford. So I think at the time I think I was 21. Yeah, I was 21 that summer. Um, it was hard, but I had a lot of stuff on my back, like book bag, had my purse, dropped everything else off that I didn't need at my mentor house in her basement, like storage. And I saw a friend, an old friend from high school. He still lives in the neighborhood. We kicked it. We hung out that day. Then he's like, "Oh well, yeah, you come to my place," because I told him what was going on. Like, "Hey, you come to my place for the weekend or maybe like a week." And he let me. I don't want to really get into that because that's gonna be like in my book. But he let me stay over his house for a whole week, and I was very grateful. Still talk to this person to this day. Um, but then I had to end up back on the street. But I did go to the shelter that I was at first, but I was old, so like I was 21, so there was no room for me. Like I couldn't do it because I was 21, and so I'm like, okay, I get that. Um, I was just too old to go in a shelter, and I think that I got like a lot of tips and stuff from them, like cars and people I should talk to, and get on like emergency waiting list for like an apartment. And they was telling me about this overnight shelter, 21 plus, like, but it was first come first serve. And so my mentors at the time, she took me, and we had to draw a card. And I guess it was a lot of regulars there, and I tried to go in there, and the vibe felt wrong. It felt like someone was gonna be sleeping on the floor, and it seemed like it was gonna be me because I was new. And I actually just left. I left, walked out, and I ended up staying at my mentor place, where my used to be mentor place, for like a week until the work started. So I went there, started work. You know, I was still kind of like homeless, and as the still kind of homeless, still like sleeping in parks and stuff like that. I was carrying a huge weight on my shoulder. I was working 8 hours a day, um, with kids, yes, and I was doing kindergarten through second graders. So a that was like very stressful, mentally, physically, because I had the big book bag. Then I had to like, you know, just run around with these kids, energize these kids, like teach these kids, and I just couldn't keep. I didn't think I could keep doing it, but I did. But also outside of work, I was sleeping in parks and stuff like that. And so one time, I heard if police catch you sleeping in park, you can go to jail. And so I was really trying to avoid that because I don't have a record, I don't have a background, I don't have anything. I am a clean slate with the law. Um, so I just didn't want it, and I kept on hallucinating. It was very windy. It was by the expressway, and I could hear just like cars just like going past, like and causing wind and stuff. And I know I had a hoodie, oversized. No, it was a hoodie, but it couldn't fit me. It was like small, but I'm like an extra small. So I put my hands, my body, the body that I can't fit, in my hoodie, and my toes was still cold. So I had to like the extra clothes that I had in my book bag. I put it on my feet, put it on my feet. Then I kind of just stayed there, but like every time I wouldn't get in sleep. Every time I would try to get like a sleep, like I mean, every time I try to get like a nap in or get some Z's, I hallucinate that police ran up on me saying, "What you doing here, police?" You know, with the flashlight. So I like and look around. Well, I'm very scared of dogs, so like I hallucinated that a dog ran up on me. But it was sometimes where I thought I was dreaming, but I was for real. Like it was the dog and its owner. He's walking the dog and stuff, and the dog actually came. And the person's like, "Are you okay?" Like thinking I was dead. I'm like, "No." I was just saying, I I just told him that I needed some air from my household, and that I live in the area. And I just needed some air, and I'm going back home because he was gonna call the police. And I left, and I came back around when he left. Um, so I wasn't really getting any sleep in, and I'm surprised how I made it. Um, I looked online, and I was like, no, actually, I was at work one day, and somebody like, oh, yes, a 24-hour Starbucks. They weren't really talking about me and my situation, but I kind of like, I heard them say that. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Like, I never knew it was a 24-hour Starbucks. Like, why would people need coffee that late? And I found out that people study late, or, a lot of homeless people go in there. So I was going in there, and I was trying not to fall asleep. I didn't have no money. I was trying not to fall asleep. I was like nodding up, and at one time I just nodded up, and the worker came up to me and said, "Hey, you can't sleep in here." And I got up and I started walking. I walked, I walked because I I walked until the bus came, and I I figured if I walked, I would stay up. I wouldn't doze off. I wouldn't do nothing. So I'm not getting any sleep. And so my back started hurting really bad. Like I felt like that my back was gonna give out on me. And I walked to the hospital, St. Joseph, St. Mary's Hospital on Division in Oakley. And I walked in and I told them I got back problems and I'm homeless. So the lady was trying to get me to a shelter all the way over east. She said the shelter come pick you up and you get released tomorrow and you gotta find your way back, to a place that you know. And I didn't know, I'm not from over east, I'm not from over out south. So I was like, I can't do this. So I waited and I waited for 2 hours, but they was coming at 3. I text my friend like, hey, where are you? Like, can I come spend the night at your house and this and this and that? Like, do you got me a way to get there? But I think she didn't even live at her house. She didn't move in yet. She was still with her aunt. And it was a good friend that I knew. No, knew. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to get my story right. I'm trying to remember. Like I said, this happened in 2017. And it was a good friend of mine. She passed 2020. Rest in peace. It took a toll on me. I'm still grieving. But I will get through it. I know I will. So back to my story. I left the hospital and walked back and I said, I'm going to deal with this pain. I'm going to deal with this back pain. I'm going to deal with me hallucinating. I'm going to deal with me not being able to sleep. Like I was up on zeros, like 0 Z's. Like I was not sleeping. Like I guess every 30 minutes I sleep or put my head down and I sleep. I had to get back up and just go because I couldn't get a full 8 hours of sleep. And I literally don't even know how my brain was working. I don't know how my body didn't shut down. And so I went to the shelter that I was at, and this lady who used to work there, she gave me some money, and she said, take it. Like she said, after you graduated, I did not think that you would be in this situation. I thought you had everything figured out, like going to college. I thought I did too, but that's another story. That's another time I will tell. And so I was able to put money on my bus pass. And my first time going to O'Hare, I didn't even go to the airport. I just went all the way to the end of the line. If you're from Chicago, if you go on the Blue Line, Chicago go to O'Hare. But I got off on what it said O'Hare, and I walked up. And I'm like, why would I go to an airport? Like, I just need to come back because I got so much shit in my bag that I'm not going to be able to pass the gate. I got maze, I got this, I got that. They're like, what the fuck is you doing? You see what I'm saying? So I was like, No, I turned around and I got back on the train. And the only reason I did that because it was a long train ride. But at night it was so fast. So I said, huh. So I went back to the Starbucks. And this time I got in, like I'm up. So I wait till 5 o'clock. I leave until I start seeing like the sunrise because I had to go to work. I went to a Starbucks by my job in the neighborhood, washed up, brushed my teeth, shaved my face, um, and just act like nothing happened. Even though some people knew I was going through stuff, they didn't care to help, and that's okay because I didn't ask anybody for help. I didn't plan nobody to help. Um, I yeah, that day I just went to work, did everything over again. Um, the After work, I was actually going to wash my. No, I wasn't. I was going to the Starbucks again. No, I actually stayed in the neighborhood. I think that day I met up with my mentor. I met up with my sister, who I call sister, but she's my sister. Um, she, I told her about. She just gave me like some good advice. Um, and my mentor, we all met up in the back of a high school that I went to and she went to, and that my mentor used to teach at, kind of like work at. And my sister gave me bought me a sandwich from Subway, and it was so hard to see her get on the bus. Not because, and she asked her mom, "Can I come?" But I guess they had family from out of town, so her mom couldn't do that. And her mom knew me, not very well, but she knew of me. Um, but my sister, she texted me like it was kind of hard to know that she couldn't really go to sleep because she knew I was out there in the streets. And and that was kind of hard to hear because the fact that she tried to do something, tried it. I knew somebody was out there thinking about me. Um, I was walking to go to the laundromat because I had a few quarters left from the lady who gave me cash, and I seen some high school friends again, and she and they told me about this hostel. This person, he told me about this hostel, but they was like, "Oh well, tonight you can come spend the night over our house," and I did. And the hostel thing, you have to be from out of town. You can't be from Chicago. My ID said Chicago because I haven't updated it because it didn't expire yet. But my bank statement said from Rockford, so I was able to get in through hostels and book a room. And of course, I booked um, co-ed rooms until there was none. I could have did the female room. I identify as female, and I used to always do that. The female room. Nobody never said nothing, but one time I got this huge check from work because I wasn't getting paid, and they paid me. They still owe me money, but I'm over it. They paid me two big, huge, like big checks, and I was going to update my phone because I feel like my phone was it went through all. Like it was like, okay, it's time for me to update it. I went through so much. I was still saving. I had a lot of savings left because I wasn't in the apartment. I wasn't paying rent. Um, and so I went to go update my phone at a place downtown. I thought it was downtown. And I got a call from an email from the hostel that I booked, and they canceled my room because they thought that since it was the last female room or the last room in the hostel that I booked it. Now my name wasn't changed at the time, so it was I say male name. Um, so they canceled it, and I called them like, no, what the fuck, like what's going on? Like I always booked here, like there's never been a problem. And so I used to want to talk to a manager. I still paid. That whole thing was like they discriminated against me, discriminated against the name. That was I had at the time, and I just didn't understand. I couldn't understand. I'm sorry. And so I just wanted to understand why they did that. And I wanted to speak to the manager who did it. But he was never was available to talk. So I kind of just ended up leaving that place and not going back, and gave them like a bad review. I then I went over my cousin's house and I got in touch with some people, and a family friend decided to, you know, take me in, kind of. And I stayed there for like maybe 2 or 3 months, maybe 2.5. I'm not sure. Until it was actually to the end of the summer. Because I remember I still had to, like, I got back on the street and I ended up going back to the hostel. And that's when I started working another job. So I had 2 jobs, no place to live. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I can start looking for me a studio apartment or like a 1-bedroom on the west side of Chicago. I didn't want to, but I'm like, it is what it is. And every landlord was turning me down. They was nice enough to give me my my application feedback, but every landlord was turning me down because I didn't make enough. And so I was just like, damn. Until I started getting on Craigslist and just started looking for roommates. And a lot of people was asking for sexual favors for me to stay with them. And I just couldn't do it. Like, I don't judge anybody who do that, but I couldn't do it myself. And so I don't know. I feel like I wasn't getting no luck until this one person reached out to me and said, hey, are you looking for a roommate? I can do this. Rent will be this much. And the rent would be $300 a month, utilities included, for 6-month lease. I said, okay, I can do that, because I did not want to be homeless during the fall or Chicago winter. And sometimes during the fall, it can be brutal as well. So I said, I don't want to be homeless. So I checked out the apartment. Me and my mentor checked out the apartment. She was so proud of me, because she set the goal for me getting 2 jobs. She's like, when you get 2 jobs, you know, try to find your roommate because you can afford it. So I did. So she was just happy. She helped me move in. I had no furniture at all. So, I mean, I had a bed sheet mattress. I had a mattress I was sleeping on for the remainder of my lease. I didn't buy a bed. And my experience with that was kind of crazy. I didn't talk to the people.
Is what, but they don't know what is what. They just strut. What the fuck?